Want to know how much food you should provide your parrot? Watch this video for a very easy method on portioning. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dave and today we are discussing a really easy rule of thumb for how much you should provide your parrot food wise. Now this rule was developed by a good friend of ours, Dr. Jason Crean, and we found it has stood the test of time with our clients and with other people who have adopted it. It's a really useful kind of rule of thumb to measure how much of a portion you should be providing your parrot daily. Now this method is basically called the tablespoon method, and with it you basically use a tablespoon to measure out portions. So for a small bird you provide 1 tablespoon per meal, for a medium bird you provide 2 tablespoons per meal, and for a large bird you provide 3 tablespoons per meal. Now if you're wondering what qualifies as small, medium and large, just as an example, a cockatiel would be small, a ringneck would be medium, and a large would be something like a macaw. And then you're probably wondering, how do I apply it? Now let's take ourselves as an example. What we do is we provide in the morning a tablespoon of fresh chop for our small parrots, and then we also include some sprouts within that and the like, and then in the afternoon they get another tablespoon per bird of dry mix and other bits and pieces. Now you can exclude stuff like herbs, flowers, the treats you provide when you're training, those aren't included, just for their meals. And we tend to prefer to provide this fresh in the morning and the dry in the afternoon, because we want them to eat the fresh basically, and then they can have their afternoon, which lasts through to the next cycle because it's all dry food. One other important thing to remember about this method is you can't just like double, triple, quadruple up the portions and just like use 4 tablespoons and just leave it in there for longer. This method works best if it's done daily. You don't want to be just piling it all in there, because it's just not going to lead to the best results. So remember, try and use this method daily rather than doubling or tripling up on it and just leaving it for days, because then the food just sit there and then you won't really get an accurate measure of anything. Now, what's really important about this method is to remember it is just a rule of thumb. It is not something that should be done strictly. The way you want to manage it is by observing your bird, how much they eat, how much they throw out. Maybe if they're throwing out a lot of food, maybe you can provide a little bit less. If you notice they're eating it all and they're still hungry, provide a little bit more. And the best way of accurately measuring how much food to provide is simply weighing them regularly. If you notice their weight is starting to drop, maybe you can increase that food a little bit. Just go maybe 1.25 tablespoons. If their weight is going too much, then you can reduce it a little bit. Just as I say in all my videos, use a bit of common sense and apply it to your individual bird in the best way. And do remember as well, this is per bird. So say for example you have 2 birds in the same cage, you're going to want 2 bowls with that portion for each one. Another thing people do using this method is portioning out a small amount of the higher value stuff in the sort of dry mix and using that for foraging. That's completely okay. Again, it's entirely up to you how you want to apply this method. It's just a really easy rule to get the portioning right. So if we underfeed our birds, they're going to be erratic in their behaviour, going to be hungry, and that's not very good for welfare. If we overfeed them, then that's not really ideal either, because there's health problems if they get obese and they'll be less motivated to train. And generally we want to get just the right balance, and using this method in combination with weighing them regularly and observing them is a really great way of maintaining that balance. So guys, that's it. That's just tablespoon method. If you have any other methods that you use to portion your bird's food, do let me know down in the comments. But in the meantime, take care and see you later.